Welcome to the rental real estate grouping mini lesson. This is one of Teaching Tax Flow's favorite tax selections to use to allow certain taxpayers the ability to deduct losses from their rental properties. Now we talk tax flow versus cash flow, so we're talking about tax losses, not necessarily cash flow losses, to offset ordinary income. So this mini lesson is very important, especially for a certain group of people that are going to qualify to make this election. Let's dive right in. We're going to talk first through some technical pieces. We're looking at IRC Section 469A C7A, and we're going to look at within the tax code the why we're allowed to do this. I'll touch on that very briefly. Then even more importantly, in Teaching Tax Flow's opinion, we're going to show you a sample election. So if you fit into this criteria, then we're going to show you what you should be reporting on your annual tax return, and then we're going to bring it into our Teaching Tax Flow AIM activity matrix profile and determine what real estate investors, what profile would benefit the most from this rental grouping election. And then we'll have our call to action. So let's look into Section 469 of the Internal Revenue Code. The first portion here, which I'm highlighting, talks about being a rep status. We have another mini lesson on real estate professional or rep status and what those two qualifications are. Once we move beyond that, you can see that notwithstanding clause, a taxpayer may elect to treat all interests in rental real estate activity as one. So this allows us, again, the rep status, is right here in B, but this allows us to say, hey, we can take all of our rental activities and count it as one activity. Why is that important? Because now I only have to prove material participation into the activity as a whole and not each rental property individually. And we know with material participation, there's a separate mini lesson on that, and you have to meet one of the tests. But it's much easier to meet that material participation test when we look at a group of properties, especially for taxpayers that have several rentals, instead of each rental property specifically. So that's why this election is so important. All right. Except as provided in the paragraph 7, the term passive activity includes any rental activity. So again, we are saying that this rental grouping election only makes sense for people that are real estate professional status. And if you're a passive investor, then it's not going to make much sense for you. All right, sample election. Right here, we're looking at our friend, the Joe and Jill tax flow. This election right here that I'm highlighting, this is what you would attach to your tax return, and you do this on an annual basis if you want to group those rental properties together as one activity, assuming we're not passive investors and we do have that real estate professional status. We're going to go back to that AIM matrix. This is a familiar chart for people that are within the Teaching Tax Flow ecosystem. We're looking at that rental grouping election. So who does this make sense for the most? Well, the slam dunk people are going to be your rep status with rep status taxpayers with long-term rentals, your material participants with short-term rentals that are meeting that short-term rental loophole, your rep status with short-term rentals. Possibly this makes sense with a passive investor with a long-term rental, material participant with a long-term rental, or passive investor with a short-term rental. The reason I say passively is if you have losses from other activities that you want to group together with gains from other rental activities, that might make sense. But realistically, it's rep status is a slam dunk for the rental grouping election. All right, let's hit our calls to action. First of all, review your tax return. Determine if the rental real estate grouping election would even make sense for you. Determine if you're eligible for the grouping election. And then if eligible, consider making it on your tax return on an annual basis using that sample election. They're going to fly back to real quick this sample election. All right, thanks for watching this mini lesson. Have a great rest of the day.
John here from Teaching Tax Flow. I wanted to thank you for watching this video. We literally have hundreds of hours of content between podcasts, webinars, videos just like this built specifically for you, the taxpayer. Whether you're a full-time employee, you're a freelancer, you're a contractor in some other sense, or you're thinking about getting into business for yourself. Everything here at Teaching Tax Flow is perfect for you, basically going off of the roadmap provided by the IRS to legally and ethically reduce the taxes paid over your lifetime. So be sure to subscribe to this channel and connect with Teaching Tax Flow, and we will see everybody very soon.